Nigel Farage, leader of the Brexit Party, was just hit with a milkshake. And it's unsurprising because many people have been getting hit by milkshakes. If you were going to ask me, Nigel Farage, as he was out campaigning, I believe it was in Scotland, if he would get milkshaked, I would have told you yes. Because it's not just, we will read through this story, but we've also had Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, hit with a milkshake 4th time in a week. So, look, do I really care about food items being thrown at people? To an extent, yes. It's not the biggest deal in the world. The real issue is the escalation and potential for violence. People aren't going to stop with milkshakes. When someone gets hit with a milkshake, they don't simply say, ah ha ha, it was a milkshake. No, they get angry and they chase people down the street. Fights break out. Other people start throwing eggs. Eggs turn into rocks, and this is escalation. If things weren't so politically tense and divided, you might say, it's a milkshake, whatever, we'll move on from this. These things happen. But we're coming off of years of street violence with people being bashed over the head on numerous occasions, where 40,000 people surround a person of color in Boston, Vashiva, accusing him of being far-right fringe. I'm not going to use the certain terminology that they called him, but, it's an Indian guy. That's how insane things have gotten. So when I see this repeatedly happening in the UK, it's actually kind of worrisome. Again, milkshakes aren't that big of a deal. It's the potential for escalation that we have already, and the escalation we are already seeing. So before we jump into this story, what I would like to do is tell you, you can support my work over at timcast.com/donate. Feel free not to. Feel free to hate me. That's fine. But there's a monthly donation option, cryptocurrency options, and a physical address. And of course, you can just share this video and click the like button because that really does have an impact. But we got some photos here of Nigel Farage. Now, it's important to note that the Brexit Party is currently leading the polls. They're holding 34% of the vote. It's just from a couple days ago. So this is, I guess this is a pretty big deal. I mean, this is the biggest party being, targeted and pelted with milkshakes. Albeit other people like Tommy and Sargon have been hit as well. Metro says, the Brexit Party leader was reportedly heard telling his security it's a failure before he fumed. How did that happen? That's a really good point, right? If I can predict he's going to get hit with a milkshake, how did security not stop this? Now, granted, you can throw a milkshake from really far away, so maybe there's something you can do about it. He was quickly whisked away from the scene in a car with pictures and video showing his dark suit covered in milk. Yesterday, Burger King was accused of endorsing violence after reminding customers in Scotland that it sells milkshakes. It was seemingly in response to McDonald's being ordered to stop selling drinks near a rally Farage held in Edinburgh on Friday. McDonald's said police had requested they stop selling them after other European election candidates were targeted by protesters. They mentioned other people like Sargon. So here we have a video. I'll play just a little bit. You can see Nigel Farage being whisked away, they say, while he's covered in milkshake. So I don't, I got to be honest. It's an annoyance to these people. I really don't think. Actually, I think Tommy was the most angry because he actually chased the guy down the street, at least in one video. Nigel and Carl are probably going to be. Actually, I think Sargon might actually make jokes about it and laugh about it because he's a hard guy for you to actually get angry. But let's look at. We will look at some more of these photos. But then what I want to do is jump over to this article from Human Events that breaks down the issue of why this is a big deal. They say the Brexit leader was visiting Newcastle ahead of the European elections on Thursday. He was surrounded by security and activists at the time, but a protester still managed to get close enough to hurl the milkshake near to Gray's monument. Covering pro-Brexit politicians in Milkshake began in the northwest of England when Stephen Yaxley Lennon was hit twice in 2 days. In the first instance, he was hit with a milkshake. Yeah, we get it. So here's the thing. Right, so we know that Carl Sargon was hit. This is an article from Human Events by Raheem Kassam called Today a Milkshake, Tomorrow a Brick, Corporate-Backed Political Violence is Here. The reason why I want to talk about this story is, for one, it's kind of breaking news. Nigel just got hit. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it is a sign of the times. Yesterday I made a video about how the mainstream left is encouraging and cheering on the escalation of political violence. It's not just the milkshakes. I have tweeted, this is probably the lowest level of what you could consider violence. It's a milkshake. It's annoying. You get dirty and sticky, go wash it off. You're not going to be permanently injured. I guess there's the rare circumstance where someone is so deathly allergic to dairy that you die, but that's possible. So don't attack people. But I do think milkshakes aren't the issue. The issue is mob mentality and the escalation. We've seen mainstream personalities cheer on political escalation. And I'm not talking about milkshake. I'm talking about bricks, bottles, bike locks. They say go out and attack people who believe in your First Amendment right. I'm not exaggerating. I am absolutely not exaggerating. I actually think I have something pulled up here. Look at this. This is from 2017. Always punch Nazis. And it says, in reference to Spencer, they say he should be, if he wants to talk all that S, he should prepare to get hit. Same goes for anyone else thinking their speech, hate speech, should be protected. So yes, there is an active call for years not to. It's not about, look. Nobody wants to defend the fringe far right wackaloons, right? We're trying to find moderate, reasonable policy to move forward with our country and find compromise and make sure we can live together. But what they do is they dangle the worst of the worst in front of you, so that these regular old people who aren't paying attention go, oh yeah, those people are bad. But then they call everyone a Nazi, far right, fringe. She says in that video, anyone else who thinks hate speech should be protected. That's the First Amendment. Anybody who believes in the Constitution and the First Amendment, they're saying they will attack you. But this is the escalation. In the article, Raheem says, there's a snippet here, I'm not worried about some sugar-crammed Burger King shake hitting anyone. I'm worried about the unwieldy power of big corporates in politics. Burger King tweeted, we're selling milkshakes all weekend. So here's the thing. I don't care that Burger King is saying, oh, you come buy a milkshake, throw it at a politician. What's worrisome here is that you can see, I'll tell you what my opinion is. So the intern or whoever was running the social media account, in their mind, truly believes everyone opposes people like Farage and Sargon and Tommy, not realizing that Brexit is the top polling party. They're in a bubble. They think I'm on the right side of history and those are the weird crazies no one actually likes, when in reality, they're the weird crazies. So they tweet this message thinking that they're joining in the fun. Haha, I'm going to make a joke because this is what everyone thinks. Wrong. It's what some people think, and those people are weird crazies on Twitter. And this is what's driving the left insane, partly. On Twitter, the left has gone insane because, well, they don't get banned for breaking the rules. They can, for years, post racist things like, Sarah Jong, who's probably the most notable example. But there's so many examples you can see of people breaking the rules and getting away with it. So then what happens is when these people on the left see the mindless, Twitter riot, the digital riot that is posting nonsensical calls to violence and things like that, they join in the fun. It's a mob mentality. The right doesn't have that luxury because they get cleaned up when their crazies get banned. So here we have Burger King thinking it's funny to join in calls for political violence. Again, a milkshake, it's a milkshake. It's the escalation. Because people then showed up with eggs. Other people then started picking up rocks and bricks. When someone throws a milkshake, okay, I'll put it this way. I have been on the ground at these, at riots, at events. It never usually just starts with someone chucking a brick or bashing people over the head. It starts with a water bottle. It starts with a water balloon. It starts with something really, something that no one will really care about, like a milkshake. But as soon as someone else sees an object thrown from the crowd, they don't know what it is, they pick up what they can find and start throwing whatever they can. So someone throws something, you're in a big crowd of people use the crowd as cover, rocks start flying. And we've already seen that happening. So no, we should, considering how crazy things have gotten over the past few years with street battles across the US, and now, the tensions escalating in the UK, we should probably try and walk back the escalation. Unfortunately, in my opinion, many of these high-profile personalities, celebrities, etc. on the left, they're not activists. They just want to appease the mob. That's their job. They're celebrities. It's what they do. They don't care about politics. They care about, virtue signaling to build followings so that they can be marketable. They're advertisements. They're walking billboards. So when people start joining in and throwing milkshakes, they start giggling and laughing and then join in too. Why did they all, not everybody, but so many people start going crazy on the punch a Nazi thing? Because it was a mob mentality. Everyone else is doing it, so they join in. Look at Covington. Covington's a really good example. The left is overrun with mob mentality. And so here's what I'll say. People like to pull up my videos, and I mention this, every so often, and say like, oh, clearly Tim is focused too much on the left. And it's like, are there conservatives forming mobs and chucking things at the left? Why are there no conservatives or right-wing individuals buying milkshakes and throwing them back? Serious question. If the left is now saying this is okay and you should do it, and Burger King is joining in the fun, I'm doing air quotes, how come there are no conservatives saying, okay, we'll do it too? Where are the conservatives calling for censorship? Where are the conservatives trying to shut down people's bank accounts? Where are the conservatives calling for people to be banned on social media? I'm not seeing it. Where are the conservatives pulling out bike locks and bashing people over the head? Just not seeing it. So yeah, you want to talk about freedom and liberty, it's not coming from the left. The left is joining a mob and just doing whatever they say, escalating tensions. And where's Twitter, Facebook, or anyone else saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't post this, Burger King? Context matters. Well, unfortunately, when it comes to social media, context is slightly broken. So here's what I can see happening. For years, mainstream personalities have been saying, yes, hit first, enforce that Overton window. One of the points I made in my video yesterday about the escalation of violence is that CBS show, The Good Fight, where one of the characters talks to the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and says, what's the point of having, Overton's window if it doesn't come with some enforcement? The Overton window is an idea of what's publicly acceptable in terms of speech. Think about that. A mainstream television show telling you, yes, punch people who don't fit within Overton's window. Here's the problem. A lot of ideas that we think are acceptable today didn't fit Overton's window a couple decades ago. Think about it, 60 years ago, or maybe 70 years ago, pot smoking, even drinking during Prohibition. More importantly, LGBT rights. Yeah, for a while, that wasn't part of Overton's window. So I think we're seeing dangerous escalation here. Nigel Farage is just the next person to get milkshaked. Admittedly, I'll end by saying this. Do I really, really care about a sugary drink? No, absolutely not. I agree with Raheem on this issue. It's when you have major brands joining in, getting involved, when you see the news, when you see all these personalities cheering for this, how is people not getting banned? These are direct calls for violence. You have many people on the left cheering for it, saying, go do this. Twitter isn't banning them. Why? It's a direct call for violence against an individual. Why isn't it being shut down? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, stick around. More segments to come. For those watching on YouTube, the next segment will be 1 p.m. But for everyone else, stick around. It's about to play now.